In the depths of the wilderness, where hope seemed lost, a nation wandered. Yet, in the midst of their desert wanderings, a powerful promise echoed through the sands of time. I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. These words, spoken by the prophet Isaiah, became a lifeline of hope for the Israelites. It was a reminder that even in the barrenness of their surroundings, God was with them, leading them to a land flowing with milk and honey. The story of the Israelites wandering in the wilderness is a testament to the unwavering presence and faithfulness of God. It is a reminder that even in the most desolate and challenging seasons of our lives, He makes a way where there seems to be no way. Get ready to be inspired, encouraged, and reminded that no matter the valley you're walking through, God is with you, making a way. Through the wilderness, finding hope in the valley. Throughout the scriptures, we encounter stories of individuals who faced valleys of despair, persecution, and loss. These narratives inspire and encourage us, demonstrating the power of God's presence and His faithfulness in the midst of adversity. Let us delve into some of these stories, discovering the profound lessons they hold for us today. One such story is that of Joseph, a young man who experienced betrayal, slavery, and imprisonment. As a favored son, Joseph was sold into slavery by his own brothers out of jealousy. He found himself in the house of Potiphar, an Egyptian official, where he served diligently. However, he was wrongfully accused of a crime he did not commit and was thrown into prison. In the depths of the prison, Joseph could have easily given into despair and bitterness. However, he chose to trust in God's presence and remain faithful. Even in the darkness of the prison, God's favor was upon Joseph. He interpreted dreams for fellow prisoners, and eventually, his interpretation reached Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt. Pharaoh had been troubled by a perplexing dream, and none of his wise men could provide an interpretation. But Joseph, with God's wisdom, not only interpreted the dream but also offered a plan to save Egypt from famine. Pharaoh recognized Joseph's God-given wisdom and elevated him to a position of authority, making him second in command in the land. Joseph's story teaches us that even in the valleys of betrayal and imprisonment, God's presence sustains and leads to eventual victory. Joseph's unwavering faith and trust in God enabled him to overcome immense obstacles and fulfill the purpose God had for him. Another compelling story is that of Job, a man who experienced unimaginable loss, suffering, and despair. Job was a blameless and upright man, yet he was subjected to a series of calamities. He lost his possessions, his children, and even his health. In the midst of his suffering, Job wrestled with deep anguish, questioning the purpose and justice of his afflictions. Job's friends, assuming his suffering was a result of sin, offered misguided counsel. However, Job maintained his integrity and continued to seek God's presence and understanding. In the midst of his pain, he declared, "Though he slay me, yet will I hope in him." Job 13 verse 15. Eventually, God revealed himself to Job in a powerful way, reminding him of his sovereignty and wisdom. Through this encounter, Job gained a renewed perspective and a deeper understanding of God's ways. In the end, God restored Job's fortunes and blessed him with even greater prosperity than before. Job's story reminds us that even in the darkest valleys of despair and loss, God is present and working in ways that may be beyond our comprehension. It teaches us the importance of remaining steadfast in our faith and trust in God's ultimate plan, even when we cannot fully understand or explain our circumstances. Additionally, the story of the Israelites wandering in the wilderness serves as a profound example of God's faithfulness and provision in the midst of challenging times. After their liberation from slavery in Egypt, the Israelites journeyed through the desert toward the Promised Land. However, they faced numerous trials, including scarcity of food and water, enemies, and their own disobedience. Yet, throughout their journey, God demonstrated His unwavering faithfulness. He provided manna from heaven to sustain them, water from a rock to quench their thirst, and protection from their enemies. Even when the Israelites grumbled and doubted, God remained faithful to His promises and guided them to their destination. The story of the Israelites teaches us the importance of relying on God's provision and guidance during times of uncertainty. It reminds us that even in the wilderness of life, God is with us, providing for our needs and leading us toward His promised blessings. These stories, and many others found throughout the Scriptures, reveal a common thread: God's presence and faithfulness in the midst of valleys of despair, persecution, and loss. They inspire us to trust in God's guidance, remain steadfast in our faith, and find hope in His unwavering love. In our own lives, we may encounter valleys that seem insurmountable. But as we reflect on these biblical narratives, we are reminded that God's presence and faithfulness transcend time and circumstances. He is with us in our darkest moments, leading us, comforting us, and working all things together for our good. As we journey through life's valleys, let us draw strength and encouragement from these stories. May we be inspired to trust in God's presence, seek His wisdom, and remain steadfast in our faith, knowing that He is the ultimate shepherd who guides us through every challenge and leads us to victory.